perform some cooking magic today. We're going to turn this perfectly ordinary can of red salmon into this magnificent
Quiche! I'm just going to switch to my regular voice. Hi! This is Ariel, and this is my third year doing Blind Date with a cookbook. It is the only time of the year that I ever cook. And I was so excited because my cookbook was all about tin fish. And if you've been on TikTok, you know that Tin Fish Night is a super trendy and inexpensive way to enjoy some succulent morsels. My book was called The Tin Fish Gourmet, and it contains recipes organized by type of canned fish. The recipe I chose was a salmon and cheddar quiche. I went with the salmon because my husband George is a canner and he cans meat, and one of the meats that he cans is salmon. And we've never used it in a recipe before or even eaten it, so I decided that this would be a great opportunity to try some of my husband's home canned salmon with some quiche. And I didn't think it was going to be very good, but I was pleasantly surprised. So the recipe calls for the following ingredients: a 9-inch pastry shell, a 7.5-ounce can of salmon drained and flaked. Like I said, my husband is a home canner, so we just had this in our pantry, and we were able to use some of the salmon for this recipe, and then we used some leftover salmon from his can to make some salmon croquettes. But anyway, we also used a cup of cheddar cheese grated, a 1/4 cup of green onions, 5 sliced basil leaves, although I really just estimated on the basil, some chopped pimento, which was an ingredient I didn't know existed until I saw this recipe, 2 large eggs, which cost $100, and a cup of light cream. We also seasoned it with ground black pepper. You'll need to thaw your frozen pie shell for about 15 minutes and poke holes in it with a fork. And then you need to turn the oven and preheat it to 350 degrees. My husband weighed out the salmon for me, and he removed the skin and flaked the fish. I did not do those steps because I thought it was disgusting. But then I washed and sliced the green onions, measured 1/4 cup, and did the same with the basil leaves. I then hand shredded a cup of extra sharp cheddar cheese, drained and chopped 2 tablespoons of canned sliced pimentos. After this, I cracked 2 eggs, beating them together with a substitution for a cup of light cream, 1/2 cup heavy cream, and 1/2 cup whole milk. I added pepper as well here. I also grated 1/4 cup Parmesan cheese to put on top. When this was done, I spread out the salmon on the pie crust, followed by adding some of the cheddar cheese under the watchful eyes of a corgi, followed by onions, basil, pimento, and finishing with the rest of the cheddar cheese. I then poured over the egg mixture and topped it with the grated Parmesan cheese. I baked this for about 30 minutes, and this is how it looked in the end. Like I said, this was a recipe that I didn't expect to like. It was just a convenient way to use salmon, but the flavor was actually really good, and we had more than enough for leftovers. So, as Julia Child would say,